So usually, I kind of just take a while to get my day started, and I'm like, okay, my first video won't come out for a while, right? But today is different because when I woke up, I saw the news that BLOB has been eliminated from the Summoner's Choice, and that is just insane, right? Like, BLOB was the front runner of this whole thing. People thought like this was just an unfair competition because BLOB was just surrounded by all these less popular characters. And today we got the finals of the Summoner's Choice, and BLOB is not there. It is between Shothra and Black Tarantula. And let me tell you, when I first saw like the Summoner's Choice poll, my two options, my top two, were Black Tarantula and Shothra. So this is like paradise for me, right? I was wanting this the most, but I thought that these two characters are just so niche to the point where like they wouldn't make it past the first round, because you had champions like Shriek who did make it past the first round. You also had like Swarm, you had a lot of more well-known characters like Viper too. So when I saw like Shothra and Black Tarantula and like I saw the competition, I'm like, okay, these guys are just not making it that far because they're just kind of nobodies, right? But I'm glad that people kind of just really open their eyes for these characters, because I think they are the coolest characters of this whole entire vote. You have like the Beetle, who is a tech character pretty much, which I think is pretty cool. You have Swarm, who is like a bug infested person, who is also I think pretty cool. You have Shriek, who uses like Sonic Blast, which is pretty unique, especially for this game. You had Ruby Thursday, who was just like this really weird character that I feel like should have made it past the first round, but then again, I'm kind of glad she didn't because I wasn't fussed about her in the slightest. So that was honestly pretty surprising too. Viper also had a bit of popularity because of like her, previous roles in comics, but like her abilities seem kind of basic, to be honest, so I'm glad she didn't make it. But even her being out was like a massive surprise because of her popularity. And then you had the final four of Shriek, BLOB, Black Tarantula, and Shothra. Now BLOB, okay, let's talk about BLOB for a bit, right? I think that BLOB being eliminated is one of the best things ever, because it's BLOB, right? He's gonna get added eventually. Out of all 8 of these characters, if one were to lose and get added right after, it would be BLOB, because he is just such a popular character. It's not like if you lose this Summoner's Choice, you won't be added in the game for the rest of time, right? That's just not how it works. Kabam, they will eventually just need these characters in the game, so they're gonna favor BLOB over someone like the Beetle, who is 3 times less popular, while BLOB is just a very, very popular character that has a very massive fan base, as you can tell, but not big enough. Am I right? I'm sorry, BLOB fans, that was probably too soon, but don't be upset, right? He won't get added sooner than you wanted, but he will get added eventually, because out of all these champions, he is the most popular. He is the one that will get the nod a lot sooner than Ruby Thursday, for example, right? So yeah, don't worry about that. He's gonna come in the game very, very soon. But now we have the final two of Shothra and Black Tarantula. I don't know how this happened. I do not know how this happened, but when I was making my predictions, my top two were Black Tarantula and Shothra. So now that I'm talking about these two characters in the finals, it pains me kind of, because I want both of these champions in the game so badly. But here's the good part, at least. Now that these champions are in the finals, they have been acknowledged, right? People want these characters in the game. So, and when you think about it, Omega Sentinel, one of the finalists, got added pretty soon. White Tiger got added pretty soon as well. Agatha Harkness we're still waiting on, which is a bit surprising, but the other two got added at least, right? So whoever loses, I have faith that they'll be added pretty soon after anyways, but only one can be added ASAP, right? Or not ASAP, but like this year. And who do I want it to be? Well, my original vote was Black Tarantula, and I was proud of that vote for a long time, right? I think that Black Tarantula is such a cool character. He has like immortality. He is just he seems so overpowered, right? Like he seems like a pretty insane crime boss. And like those type of characters are just so cool. Baron Zemo, for example, kind of like similar vibes, but I think Black Tarantula is a lot cooler and like probably more powerful too because of his like secret powers. So I went with him first because I saw more potential out of like, anyone else. But I think I'm gonna switch up or like at least equal out my votes because Shothra was the one champion that I saw and it was like, okay, this character is gonna be out in the first round 100%. There is zero chance that this character makes it far at all, but look at what happened now. She is just in the finals somehow. I don't know how this happened again. I'll say it like 1,000 times, but she is in the finals. People like this character, and I'm really happy about it because I think out of all these characters, she is the coolest by far with her like powers and like her background. So yeah, we are having one of the best finals ever in my opinion. I think Hercules and Omega Sentinel was like the craziest one. Quicksilver kind of won with ease. Gladiator and White Tiger, that one was also pretty insane, but now we have two champions that just you feel like shouldn't have made it here, but they have made it here, and we haven't had that before, right? Like Hercules was gonna win, we all knew that. Gladiator, another cosmic character, we knew that he'd be a finalist at least. Quicksilver is Quicksilver, so that makes sense. But these two champions beat out BLOB, who was just insanely popular and was the fan favorite by far. So this is going to be a great competition. When it comes to like who you should vote, of course just vote your favorite, but keep in mind that Black Tarantula is a skill champion, so expect skill-like abilities for him. Maybe like some Purify, maybe just kind of similar to Baron Zemo's abilities. I don't want to say that because, they're going to be different for sure, but when I see both of them, I just get really similar comparisons, right? Because they're both crime bosses. Tarantula, though, is, I think, much more overpowered than Baron Zemo, so if you want like a cooler Baron Zemo, vote for Black Tarantula. But Shothra is going to be something that like we haven't seen before, I don't think, because we have like goddess like characters in the game like White Tiger, but Shothra is evil, and her potential is just insane too. She has pretty much everything like enhanced, like her reflexes, her agility, her speed, like everything about her is just enhanced, right? But not only that, she is like a wasp character. She has wasp-like claws, like razors, and stingers too, so we might get like a Power Sting Mystic character. How crazy would that be? We might get just like, a Bleed Mystic character too, but I really don't know. Both of these champions are just so cool, but I think Shothra is a bit cooler given that her background is, she was the daughter of a goddess, and she is just like this, entity of hatred, which is just so cool. It's like a female Mangog, I feel like, but her form is like a wasp, so she has stingers, she has the powers of a goddess too, so this character, if done right, is going to be so overpowered. But then again, Black Tarantula has secret powers too and can be immortal as well, so both of these characters just have insane potential, and I'm going to be honest, these two characters have about 1,000 times more potential than BLOB could ever have, because BLOB is just big. He is just a big guy. That's all he is, right? He doesn't have anything that's like really out there. Both of these champions are just really out there, so that's why I think that these characters deserve to be here. They deserve to like be here over BLOB 1,000%. That's just my opinion though. But yeah, I cannot wait for the finals. I cannot wait to see like who wins this. I think it's gonna be neck and neck, but I will give the final nod to Shothra because I feel like though Black Tarantula has a bigger fan base, the Shothra fan base is out there, and they are pretty much like silent but deadly, right? But I think they will like pull through again, and I think Shothra does get the win here. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I'm gonna like, you know, watch this closely, but I want to see like who's winning in the end, and I think it's gonna be Shothra. But let me know your thoughts on this, and yeah, that's about it for me.